Good morning, Bill. Bill, I forgot my key. Do you got yours? I was hoping you'd be here first because I forgot my key. I know you got yours. Oh, you might already used your key. I'm sorry. Good morning. Nerdy! Nerdy! I'm smiling when I see Nerdy. And when I see Pacey, I just want to dribble. Good morning. Vegas. She never sleeps. Deborah. Deborah's quite the pearl. Duck. Duck. Sauce is coming in, Aaron. Duck. Duck. Look out for the sauce. Good morning. I'll be quiet now while you guys say good morning to each other. Good morning to each other. I beg. Good morning, Laura. Drive safe. But thanks for listening too, Cutie Pie. Cutie Pie with the pretty eyes. I'm on week 3 of inoculation. How much growth should I have? In your jar, JW, week 3 means 21 days. You already have it in there. Your jar should be well inoculated. You should be at least 3/4 of the way white, probably, after 21 days. If I'm reading it correctly. At about 21 days, I'd be looking for a good at least 3/4 of my jar to be full. Or I'd be looking at, did I prep my grain correctly, or how good was the spores I used? Well, actually, are you using spores or LC? Are you using spores or LC to start the grain? Good morning, TV boy. Good morning to all of the tea crew. Good morning, especially to you. There you go, RX. LC, okay. At day 21, bro, I would be looking for some serious colonization. It should be happening. Why? Where are you at? How much colonization do you see in your jars? Good morning. I'm so glad. Look at 45 people here already, and it's only 9:06. I'm not going to waste time all morning. Good morning. I'm not going to talk about, maybe I will. Never mind. The minute you say you're not, you automatically are, right? The minute you say I'm not talking about, you're actually talking about it. Duh. Okay, well then I'm not talking about. Never mind. Right, Nerdy? It's so dumb. RX is like, come on, man. I've already done my calisthenics. Let's go. I've already stretched. RX, do you stretch before you get here? Do you stretch before your workout? You should stretch a little before we get here. Good morning, Wazzy Waz. RX says, hell yeah. Good morning. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about a couple of rando stuff. And then we're going to get to work. We have grain class today. And then we're going to be talking about not taking things personally today. And I don't remember taking anything personal yesterday. I think I did a pretty good job. Taking things personal report. Taking things personal report. Did you take anything personal yesterday, Pops? I don't think I did, Penny. I don't think I took anything personal yesterday. If I did, it sure didn't last for more than 3 or 4 seconds because I have no memory of it. Okay? So that's pretty good. Who wants to hear a twisted story? Khalid, good morning. Who wants to hear a twisted story, exception? Not that you're twisted by any means, but you're the type that likes twisted stories. Who else wants to hear a twisted story? Don't take me not being on here yet. Penny! Nobody even noticed. Penny, I hope you don't take it personal, but nobody even noticed. Now, I know that's a lie, and that was mean, okay? That was very mean, but I'm seeing if you can not take it personal. I'm seeing if you cannot take it personal. It's a test. Nobody even missed you. That is... Why do we do that to each other, Emperor? Why do we do that? Mark doesn't pop shrooms anymore. Okay. You don't have to, bro. You don't have to. You can just gently eat them. Penny! Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a twisted story. You ready? A twisted story for those who like munching on pretzels. You guys pretzel likers? I'm not even talking about likes right now. Are you kidding me? 76 people here, 21 likes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? And that means a lot of veterans here came on and they're just like, I'm taking a free ride. I'm gonna go for a free ride here. I'm not even gonna put my thumb up. Okay? Remember what thumb up the hitchhike was? This is like a toe. This is the tow hook right here. We're trying to bring people with us. We're trying to tow them in. We're trying to bring them with us. That's what this is. It's a tow hook. It's 31 people. Twisted story. For those who like munching on pretzels, give praise to the fact that joining hands together was not always the universal sign for prayer. Not always the universal sign for prayer. That's all I know. But the old universal sign for prayer, wait for it. Notice how I'm acting it out for you guys. In 7th century France and Italy, the common way to pray was with your arms crossed. That's why you see all those holy people in the pictures and stuff standing around with their arms crossed. I always thought they had a cold or something. I always thought like it must be there's a draft in the art studio, but no, they're praying. Oh, I don't know that they necessarily squeak like that, but they're praying. Okay. So, we have new way, old way. But Pops, where's the twist in the story? I drafted the studio, right? You got that song. You're the only one that got it. Okay? So here we are. Here we are. We're in 7th century France and Italy. We're commonly praying like we have a cold. Legend tells us that monks are cool, that a monk who worked days as a baker was looking to make some extra, to make use of some extra dough. Opting for a religious theme, he emulated the arms crossed gesture. With the string of dough, he made the arms crossed gesture. with his string of dough. Holy monk! That was the first known pretzel. He provided future couch potatoes with a fantastic go-to snack. I'm either eating straight pretzels from now on, or I'm praying as I eat a pretzel. Okay? From now on, if I'm eating a regular pretzel, and the rest is history, Billy D. That's a good one. Give me 5 people say, hey, Pops, that was a pretty good one. Pops, next time I eat a pretzel, I'm going to remember a 7th century Italian monk is making me pray. 7th century, that's a long time ago. Okay? That's a long time ago. That's a pretty good story, too. I never heard that one before. We learned 2 things. How the Italians prayed, and what the heck's a pretzel all about? Pretzels for Shrooms. Pretzels for Shrooms. Joe Lee made this cup for me. It's one of my favorite cups, if not my favorite. Could be close to, it might be my favorite. Whatever one I'm drinking out of is my favorite. Sharon, you just learned a lot. Kissing. What's the story with kissing? JWO and Herbie's giving you an answer. Good job. I missed it completely. Thank you, Herbs. Thanks for handling that. Sounds like you're on track. Good job. Good job. What's the deal with kissing? Kissing freaks me out. Is Sarah here? Sarah, I'm freaked out. Why do you only kiss the people you're in love with? Why don't... Do we kiss everybody? Do all animals kiss? When they bump noses, are they really kissing? Or are they just smelling each other close? Are they spreading emotions? Are they like, will they only kiss one of their other ones? Or they run around their whole pack and kiss them all? What's going on with kissing? Why does kissing look more fun on TV? Why does kissing look more fun on TV? Why do they throw people against a wall and kiss each other on TV? Like you race home from a date and throw each other on a wall and kiss each other on TV. I can't ever remember doing that. Okay? Because you can't taste their breath on TV, Derek. Oh, Kim says it's fun. Calm down, Pops. Good, Kim. Good. Kim's loving life. Kissing. It's freaking me out. I think it's okay, but it still freaks me out. Who wants to hear a few quotes about kissing? Or should I just move on? I have a couple of neat quotes. B. Hendricks, that's creepy. Ew. Whoever reaches the tonsil. Oh. Sharon, can I kiss quote you? Let me kiss quote you a little bit. These are some neat quotes, actually. Ingrid Bergman, the actress. Come on, man. Actress from the 60s and 70s. We don't care about her. But Ingrid Bergman, she was a pretty, glam actress. You ready? A kiss. A kiss is a lovely trick designed by nature to stop speech when words become superfluous. It's a trick. What did Albert Einstein say about kissing? What did Albert Einstein say? I had no idea there was an Albert Einstein quote. I figured this guy should still be working on mathematical equations somewhere. But no, he's telling us about kissing. I know you guys want to hear it. Okay? You ready? Any man Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Well, Albert, well, you got a little fire in there? I can't picture Albert giving the kiss to Albert. Albert, what are you up to out there? I can't picture Albert flying down the road trying to give a roadie kiss. It ain't happening. No. Why am I listening to you about kissing? Oh, Kim, it's very romantic. Like Albert's got some smooth. Hopefully giving the road some attention. Otherwise you gotta duck. How about this one, Bob Hope? Bob Hope said, people who throw kisses are hopelessly lazy. You throw kisses, you're just lazy. Go plant it, okay? Ambrose Bierce, he's a old-time famous funny guy. He wrote, a kiss is a word invented by poets because they had to find something to rhyme with bliss. Okay. I'm buying that one. Okay, all right. I'm buying that one right there. Poets make up words and then we get stuck with them. The sound of Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr., he was a doctor. The sound of a kiss is not so loud as the sound of a cannon, but it can last so much longer. Whoa. The sound of a kiss is not so loud as a cannon, but its echoes last a great deal longer. That's a pretty good one. Okay, final thing, we're gonna do two or three things and we're gonna go get to work, okay? Stop kissing. An old English superstition says that bubbles on tea mean kisses are coming. My tea's flat as could be. Not a bubble. Wait a minute. Hey. Okay. Hershey's teardrop-shaped chocolates, dubbed Kisses, went on sale. Nipper, you have no bubbles? I know, I didn't have any bubbles, but you can make them. You can stir it up. You can make bubbles. Means Kisses. Hershey's did their first kiss. The Hershey Kiss started in 1907. Right, Nipper? Make your own bubbles. Jesus Christ, I knew you'd go there. I knew it. How about this one? Kissing is hard work. Kim likes to kiss because she likes to work hard. My coffee has bubbles. Get out of here, Herbs. Kissing is hard work. Researchers concluded each person uses 34 facial muscles and 112 postural muscles to successfully kiss. What? 34 muscles and another 112 postural. So we're looking at a total of 146 muscles to pop out a kiss. No wonder I just blow them. Get out of here. I'm lazy. That's how I work out too. You only go about halfway down the rep. The most important muscle in kissing is probably the obicularis oris, often called the kissing muscle. This is the muscle that allows us to pucker our lips. What muscle is this? I wonder what one just happened. I'm having a cramp. I got a cramp in my obscuraris faris. The first filmed kiss. The first filmed kiss was between actors. That was the Elvis Maximus. You guys. I'm almost done, okay? The first filmed kiss was between actors Mae Irwin and John C. Rice in 1896. The first film of 1896, it was a 30-second long movie named The Kiss. Go look it up. The most kisses in a movie, 191. 191 kisses in a movie in 1926 by the Warner Brothers. Of course, the name of the movie was Don Juan. Don Juan. Don Juan, baby. Okay, enough about kisses. Who got some information? Who got kissed? Can I kiss you guys? That was my favorite kind because I didn't use more than 112 of my 148. Oh, it sounds like, Duck, it sounds like it was probably a silent movie. Back in then, it's like, what else could they do? Well, we can't talk, so you want to kiss? Good morning, everybody. Why do we prepare grains? Why don't we just take them right out of the bag from the store when we buy them and get them and sterilize them? When we say prepare grains, what do we really mean? What do we really mean? Prepare grains. Nerdy. Need to be at proper hydration. That is correct. We need to add water to a super dry as a bone fella. Okay? This little guy is so hard, I mean, I almost have to hit it with a hammer to break it. Okay? And we want that from our manufacturer because we don't want any moisture in the bag or the seed comes to us bad, or the grain comes to us bad. So one of the very first steps that we have to do after we've ordered our liquid culture, we need to get our grain prepared, which simply means we need to hydrate our grain. So we're going to hydrate our grain. Once we reach a certain level of hydration, a correct level, then we're going to put those grains in the jars that we discussed yesterday, and then we're going to pressure cook those. The pressure cooking is what causes it to be sterilized. And as long as we don't open that jar or impact the seal in any way, after we've taken the jar out of the pressure cooker, we have a sterilized product that can last those grains. You can prepare jars of grain, already have them prepared, sterilized, and sitting on a storage shelf, like a darker, cooler area. I don't do shelf life. It could last even longer than this, but I've had no problem having jars last up to a month where the grain was still in great shape. I would just go in anytime I needed it, grab a jar off of my storage shelf. It's already prepped, it's already sterilized, it's ready to go, and inoculate it. And then 25 days, I'm ready to add it to soil and start a tub. So when we're talking about grain today, the biggest thing that we're going to talk about, the most important part, sterilizing is pretty basic. It's basically, we're going to follow a formula like any baker would. The most important part, and it takes some feel at a certain point, the most important part is your grain preparation. It's very easy. It's not very easy. You can overhydrate. You can make your grain too soggy. You can also think that it's prepared properly, but it's not. The internal parts are still too hard. The mycelium's not going to really enjoy that meal, and it's not going to eat, and you're going to kind of wasted your time on that. So the key to know right now is what's the proper amount of moisture that I need my grain to be. When we get it from the manufacturer, it's at, let's call it 0% moisture in the grain. Even though, who knows, there might be some random fractional number. Let's start with, that starts with 0. We want to get that grain somewhere between 55, maybe even 65% moisture. So we have to add water to the grain. In one of the ways that they do that is they pre-soak. You can pre-soak the grain, and it's starting to already, not only is it getting water put into it, but it's beginning to develop those endospores. That's the grain that, if we have pre-soaked it, we only leave our water a little bit above the top of the grain, okay? The more water we leave above the top of the grain, actually, the harder it is for everything to start processing. So we just want to leave just a little bit if we're pre-soaking. And then we'll always get rid of that water because it's dirty water. It's filled with active endospores. And then we'll flush it and start with new water. But that's kind of an old system way. The way I'm going to teach you, and I used to do that all the time, like religiously for the first 2 years of my new journey here. Pre-soak was just something you did. Eventually, I ran into a wizard, a mushroom wizard, and he's go, I'm going to give you a new technique. I call it quick oats. Use whole oats to start with, but we can use this same methodology for almost any of the grains. We just change one of the variables. He goes, I'm going to give you a method called quick oats. Quick oats, there is nothing that you need to do in terms of pre-soak. You're going to take this stuff right out of the bag, and you're going to, it'll add the hydration for you if you use this method. But real quick before I go there, I posted this on my IG today, specifically so you would have a copy of what I'm about to read to you. So if you're wondering, hey, what was that formula again? How did that work? You can pop over to my IG page, and I have this information that I'm about to read to you on my IG page. What is my IG page, Herbie? I honestly don't remember. Is it the Detroit Mush Lab 1_1, something like that? Okay. So ultimately what we want to know is how much moisture is in our grain. When we add moisture, there's a way to measure it. Okay, so here's a home scientist way to measure the moisture in your grain. While testing grains by biting into them is a great means for checking the state of a cooked grain. The one I'm going to show you, we don't bite into it to test it. I do a pinch test. I'll pinch it. Okay, we're going to explain the pinch test here in a second. So, while testing or pinching grains is a great means for checking the state of a cooked grain, the exact water content can be measured with more precision. Properly cooked grains should have a moisture, that's what I told you, a moisture of somewhere between 55 and 65%. So properly prepared, we want to have that grain have about 55% to 65% water in it. Well, how do we know? To test this, weigh out 100 grams of prepared grain, and then place them on a baking tray in an oven heated to 350 degrees. Bake the grains for 20 minutes or until they are completely dry. I don't know if you need to do this step because you can get them completely dry right out of the bag. Once you've taken your completely dry ones, weigh those. Okay? Oh, I take this back. I take it back. I see what he's doing. Okay, so you've prepared your grains. You think that you've got the right amount of water content in there. Okay, how do you test it? You're gonna take 100 grams of this out of the bag, or out of the jar, or out of your cooked content, your soaked, prepared content. You're gonna take 100 grams of that prepared grain. You're gonna put it on a tray, you're gonna cook it at 350 for 20 minutes, or until completely dry. Now you're gonna weigh the dried grain. So you started with 100 grams of wet grain. Now you're gonna take and weigh the dry grain. The difference in weight will correspond to the moisture content that the cooked grains held. For example, if the grains come out to have about 35 grams, then you had put 65 grams worth of water into the grain. Does that make sense? So you can give yourself your own moisture cooking test and find out how much moisture did you actually put in. Okay? So for example, if the grains come out to 35 grams, then 65 grams of water had been lost in the oven. This means that the method used for preparing the grains had about 65% moisture content. So that's a way to test. Does Pops test every jar before he sterilizes it? After I've prepared my grain, do I test it before I sterilize it? No. When I was a nerd, I did. When I first starting out, I did. I wanted to know what does 65% content look like and feel like. The first couple of times I would do it. Absolutely. And then you start getting a feel for it, going, oh, this is what it looks like when it's right about where it's supposed to be. So maybe you should do it the first or second time so you get a feel for, this is what I'm expecting. Okay? We don't measure, we do the pinch test, like Corey's saying. We don't weigh it, we do a pinch test. But let me get to this, and then I'll explain. Here's what I call the quick oats recipe. All right? It's the easiest thing in the whole world because it does all of the pre-soak, everything, and your grains. It's simply, this process here is simply a matter of watching the clock. All right? So here's the process. You put a pot of water on the stove and bring it to a rolling boil. Water, stove, get it to where it's like bubbling on the top, so hot it's bubbling. A rolling boil. Now you add your oats to that boiling water, right out of the bag. I haven't pre-soaked anything. I'm gonna take my whole oats. Now listen to me very carefully. The recipe I'm telling you is for whole oats. I'll explain in a minute. So you've taken your oats right out of the bag and you pour them into the boiling water. You'll pour enough oats in to where you'll still have about that much boiling water over the top of the seed or the grain. Okay? It doesn't take you long to figure out how much grain you need to prepare to fill the amount of jars that you're working with. So you'll eventually figure out what those ratios are. But I've put my oats into the boiling water, allowing them just to be covered by the water. I turn the burner off, I actually don't turn it completely off. I'm going to turn it down to the lowest possible simmer setting. And no longer am I boiling the water, it's already boiled. Now it's sitting there boiling, and I just want to keep it simmered. It'll lose the boil a little bit, but it's some super hot water. Now's when you set your timer. 30 minutes. You'll keep this concoction going for 30 minutes. Right about 25, 30 minutes on whole oats. You'll also see it on rye berry. You'll start seeing a little white tip come out of the grain. Just little teeny, like root looking fella coming right out of the grain. If you see that, stop boiling or get your pan off the stove. If you're seeing it earlier than 30 minutes, but you'll usually see it right at about 30 minutes. You see a teeny little tit coming right out of your grain. You'll see that on almost every grain that you cook, okay? You should see tiny white tips coming out of the grain at this time. Remove the pan and immediately, I usually have a strainer in my sink, and I'm gonna immediately go over and I'm gonna pour all those grains into a strainer, and then I'm gonna take and pour cold water over the top of it. I wanna stop the cooking now. If I don't pour cold water over it and get it out of the hot water, it's gonna continue to cook. And now it starts to get soggy. There's also a trick Herbie and I discussed. Herbie does it, I do it, a lot of people do it. You can buy grain mesh bags, reusable over and over and over, the brewery bags. Take your brewer bag. Before you put your hot water in the pan, put your brewer bag around the pan, pour your water in, and your brewer bag's basically a mesh bag lining. Put your grain in there. After 30 minutes, you just get your, maybe run the pot outside, pick your whole bag up out of the water, and now you've got a bag that's already straining, and you've got all your grain in there. That's the bag right there you'll want to run some cold water over. Okay, don't just leave it hanging around in the bag. Run some cold water over it. Okay? So you can either pour it in a strainer in your sink, out of your pan, and pour cold water over it, or grab a brewer bag, and it makes everything super, super easy. You should remove the pan. This will stop them from cooking further. Now you're going to want to take these oats, okay, and spread them. There's all kinds of techniques for spreading it, but if you have nothing else, all you need is a coffee table or a table and paper towels, if you want. You can just cover something with the paper towels and you spread out all your grain so it's all one level of grain, no lumps, no clumps, no piles. Spread it all out and let it dry. It's going to get tricky right here. You can't let it dry too much. You've done all this work to put the water in the grain. Now if you let it dry too much, you end up with it isn't as hydrated as you thought it was going to be. What we're trying to do is get all of the standing water out of the grain and off of everything. So water back in the jar on top of the grain is going to end up not being, the mycelium's not going to like it and won't go for it. So the general rule is if I know my grain is well cooked, if I can pinch it with my thumb and forefinger, just pinch it like that, and the kernel or the inner meat of the grain pops out a little bit. If it's mushy, it's way too wet. If I pinch and the whole thing just mushes in my hand, it's way too wet. If I'm pinching kind of hard and I'm getting no excess out of the grain, it's too dry. What really, this is the best pinch, I don't even do a pinch test on my whole oats. I just know at 30 minutes, and I cool my grain right after I've taken it out of my steeping water. At 30 minutes, that's all I need for my whole oats. I've done it so many times, thousands and thousands and thousands of jars. That recipe works perfectly at 30 minutes. Okay? For a whole oats. How long, and the same technique works for almost every grain you'll use. The only thing you're going to change is the 30-minute cook time. Popcorn, I don't put a set time on it. Popcorn, I have to test the popcorn. I use the same exact technique. Popcorn right out of the bag. Drop it right into the boiling water. You can do that. But then usually popcorn's going to take about 45, 50 minutes this way. And every once in a while I have to take a spoon, go take a piece of popcorn out of the boiling water and do a pinch test. And as soon as I pinch that popcorn and it's feeling pinchy, Then I'm done. My corn's prepared. Rye berry. Rye berry, the same exact recipe works. But rye berry, do you think you need to boil rye berry longer than whole oats or less than whole oats? Which would it be longer than 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes? Take a guess. If you're using this method, Melody's right. It's less. It's less because it's a smaller, more fragile grain. So whole oats is a little hardier, a little bigger, takes a little more to boil into the center and hydrate it. On rye, Herbie's absolutely right. Between 15 and 20 minutes is all you'll need on your rye berry. Okay? So rye berry, if you're using that, you can prep it even a little bit faster. So now we've taken our grain, we've cold shocked it out of the pan, we've spread it to let it dry. There's some great drying screens out there online, and really all you need, hubby, steal a screen off of the window in the back of one of the back windows of the house. It's one of the window screens. Put your grain on that, let it dry, and then afterwards, put the screen back. They'll never know. Okay? Go find an old screen, old window screen, something like that. That's all you'll need to give yourself a drying screen. And the good news when you're using mesh and you're putting stuff on mesh is you'll get an airflow all the way around the grain. If you're just going to take your grain and try to dry it by laying it on a table, the underside of the grain is probably not drying as fast as the top side of the grain. Okay? Absolutely don't spray anything with ISO here at this point. No. If we're talking about this. Okay? But yeah, I mean, literally, they'll have broken screens at your hardware store. Just go in there and ask them, hey, you got an old broken screen I can take? Okay? And if you really are using one from the house, it's very simple. Just put it back. Okay? Sorry, wives. Well, hubbies too. I can see the wife out there. Honey, what are you doing? Well, Pop said I should use this screen. Oh. So now you're going to take your grain and you're going to jar it up after it's dry. How do you know it's dry? At this point in my growing process, I know by look. I also can tell by about the right amount of time, put it on this screen. About 15 minutes from now, it's going to be ready to jar. So that's actually a lot faster, the more you can get the water off of the surface of the grain. But here's a quick test. Is your grain ready to jar? Take 3 or 4 pieces of your grain, your already prepared hydrated grain, and take a 1-ply. If you have a 2-ply bathroom tissue, separate it. Take 1 ply of that tissue. Okay, put it down somewhere. Take 3 or 4 of those grains that you think are now dry, and put them on top of that 1 ply. Okay, wait about 5 or 6 seconds, and then take the grains off. Have they left any kind of a watermark on that 1 ply? Those grains. If they've left no watermark, you're probably dry. That grain's probably ready. Okay? So do the old 1-ply wet dry test on your grain before you jar it up if you feel the need to. So now you're going to fill your jars. You're going to fill your jars to where they're about 3/4 of the way full to the top. You're going to leave that top 3/4 full. Empty. Now, there's a whole nother science. If we were going to use these grains for a grain-to-grain transfer, if I know I'm going to use my jars for grain-to-grain, I'll only fill one up about halfway. So I know that when I'm going to get more grain, colonized grain from another jar, I've got plenty of room to put a bunch in. But if these jars are being prepared for LC or spores, fill them up about 3/4 of the way. Okay. Now we're gonna take and we're gonna sterilize them. We're gonna take them. We're gonna put them in a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker. I know there's Instapots out there, and there's a whole bunch of other ways to pressure cook. There's other ways, but if you just use a regular standard pressure cooker, excuse me, that's the easiest way to go. Pressure cookers, are they expensive? You get a really nice 22-quart pressure cooker for about $110. Presto, great brand. But guess what? Craigslist, eBay, there's people out there like me that had 15 pressure cookers that didn't need them anymore, so I had to sell them off. Okay? There's a lot of things that you can look for online that people have been using, and they're moving on to another hobby or another situation, and the stuff's available out there. So I guarantee you, thrift store, great idea, P. Hendricks. I guarantee you could pick up a nice Presto or a nice pressure cooker for $35-40 out there. Okay? But it is literally probably one of your most important tools is your pressure cooker. Okay? You can even do a lot of what we're going to do in mycology without a still air box and without a laminar flow hood. You can't do much without a pressure cooker. Okay? So now our pressure cooker we're going to take, and we're going to put those jars in the pressure cooker. There's one trick about the pressure cooker some people don't know. And if you know this, I apologize. Pressure cooker. When we do the pressure cooker to sterilize our grain, we want to run that grain in the pressure cooker for 90 minutes at 15 psi. Pounds or pressure per square inch. Okay, 15 pounds pressure per square inch. Most of the pressure cookers that you're going to get out there have a 15-pound weight on them, and so read up real quick on your own how to pressure cook. Okay, it's super easy if you've never done it before. Here's the one thing that a beginner could find confusing: your 90 minutes to sterilize time starts not when you first put the jar in the pressure cooker and you turn the heat on. It starts when your pressure cooker has reached 15 psi. So when it's first cold and it takes a little while to get that weight dancing and get it up to 15 psi, none of that time counts. The only time that counts is from the time that it's at psi, the full 15, go 90 from there. Okay? So that's, and one other thing, as you're building pressure up in the pan, don't hesitate to go over to the weight or something use a pot holder or something so you don't hurt yourself, but release a little bit of that air out that's been building up. Because sometimes, it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes you're actually building up an air bubble inside that building pressure. There's a little air bubble in there. And if we bleed out a little bit of the pressure, that air bubble will disappear. Boop, put it back on, keep it getting up to 15 psi. Sometimes that little air bubble, you'll think everything's sterilized inside, and that air bubble will have caused some of the stuff inside that pan to not have actually been sterilized. Okay? So that's a quick tip. Don't hesitate to bleed as you're building your pressure. Bleed a little. Keep it building. Get it up to 15, and then turn on your timer to 90. Once it's done, taking your jars out of the pan carefully, because they're going to be really hot. Don't hesitate to mix them up. Mix them up, because probably they'll be a little bit more watery, wetty-ish towards the bottom of the jar. So mix them up. And then when you store them, what you're doing is I typically wait 24 hours from the time I've sterilized them to the time I'm actually going to inoculate them because I want the grain to be well cooled. I don't want it to have any kind of a heat signature. So I usually wait about, you can wait, if you're in a hurry, it's up to you. You'll know, you'll be able to tell my jar looks like it's cool enough to inoculate now. But I give it a safe 24 hours. I also do this. I store my prepared jars that I haven't inoculated yet, but the grain in it's done, the jar's been sterilized. I store them on their side, not like this. I store them on their side. And then once a day, I'll go in and I'll just roll it. So the grain doesn't get stuck or it's always going to be pretty nice in there. So I store it on the side, and then once in a while, if I haven't used it in a little while, just go roll it. And it's okay. So it's in good shape. I can be inoculating that when I'm ready. All right, we've got through it. We powered our way through preparing our grains, why we do it, the different kinds, the recipes, sterilizing. So here we are. We're sitting here, our liquid culture's on the way, our grain's prepared. What do we have to do next? We know our substrate's either coming or we're going to prepare our substrate, but we have about 21 days to worry about that. Because our next step is we're going to inoculate our grain. We'll talk about that Tuesday. Tuesday we'll be inoculating. I know, Sharon's a great day. I'm going to finish up this morning and the week. I think I'm going to miss you guys this week. We only have a page or two left in the second agreement. Let's power through this. Give me 5 people that want to talk about the second agreement. Keep on practicing not taking things personal. It feels so much better when you don't. You actually feel powerful. It's just like, you also get a sense of humor. So after you're like, really? Come on, man. Right? You get yourself a little bit of like, you gotta be kidding me. But not against somebody. Just the universe, go ahead and laugh once in a while. Go ahead and think it's funny once in a while. If someone's not treating you with the love and the respect that you should just have, I'm not using the word deserve. The word deserve is so overused on our planet. Very few of us deserve very much. A guy that deserves something's like a Medal of Honor winner, a guy that either gave his life or he gave a limb or something. I guess he deserves a medal. That's not very much. But I take that back. He earned it. He didn't deserve it. He earned it. Deserve sounds almost like I didn't earn. Deserve sounds like you served me instead of me serve you. I avoid that word. People don't treat you like you deserve. People treat you like you act. If someone's not treating you with love and respect, it's a gift if they walk away from you. If that person doesn't walk away, you're going to endure years of suffering from them or him or her. Walking away may hurt for a little while, but all of our hearts heal. All of our hearts heal. That's the funniest thing. We think this is it. I'll never get through this one. I'll never make it. Look back, you've had a few, haven't you? Anybody had one? Be honest. Anybody had one, you weren't going to get through it. It hurt too much. Too much heartbreak. I have. And then you look at it and go, I put that much power in that? Really? I put that much power in that. We do it. And look at it now. Look at how much power we put in it. I'm so much appreciate you guys' honesty right now. It's not easy to be honest. Well, it is too. But listen. Look at the power we gave those situations and the time that we spent in them. And the scratching and the clawing to hold on to something. Now we can spot them sooner, okay? Spot them sooner. Be less willing to invest in your pain, okay? It's great that we went through them now. I spot them quicker. Walking away hurts. Being walked away from hurts. That's part of life, though. We were given that as part of being human. We were also given a lot of power. We were given power over every animal and every creature on this earth as an alpha predator because of our brains and because of our ability to communicate. I'm not so sure evolution's the greatest thing ever, but the reason that we're the most evolved species is because we have the power of the word. And look how we use it. Walking away may hurt. But when you do, you get to choose what you really want. Oh, I don't want that anymore. Well, I'd like a couple more servings of that, please. Anybody ever done that? No, I haven't. I'm serious, man. I don't usually hit the stove. If I just got burned, I got it. I figured that stove out. No, I'm good. Now there's probably another stove somewhere is going to catch me, but not that one. And I get proud of myself for spotting it and avoiding the next one. I'm a better person for it. You're going to find what you really want. You're going to find you don't need to trust others as much as you think you need to make the right choice. That's heavy. We spend so much time trying to convince others that we've made the right choice. I have perfect confidence now that I'm making the right choices. My time is very little spent trying to make sure I look good on your scoreboard. Did I make the right choice? Hey, did you see that choice I made? Hey, Joe, check me out. I'm a hell of a chooser, aren't I? I just make good, solid, healthy choices for me, and I sit back and I'm happy with them. That's not the old me. The old me would raise it up the flagpole, and you gotta salute it with me. Look, come on, man. Tell me how great I am. Because I couldn't feel it from inside. It was a missing part of my programming. In the 60s and 70s, parents didn't spend a lot of time telling you how great you were. When you make it a strong habit to not take anything personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Duh. Your anger, jealousy, and envy will disappear. And even your sadness. Your sadness is going to disappear. Because you don't take things personally. If you can make this second agreement a habit, you will find out that nothing can put you back in hell. There's a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. You become immune to negative magicians. I'm not only immune, I don't allow them around. I see a negative magician coming around, it's like I don't even see them come around. They're not even part of my life. You don't get to be in my life. If one stumbles in, they're easy to spot now. Here comes a negative magician. Here it comes. That's why I like my tea crew. That's why. I have thousands of friends here, hundreds every day. I don't need to run around out there looking for something and it ends up being a negative magician. I avoid those. I smell them. You know how? Do you remember what we said? If you spot it, you got it. I couldn't spot one if I didn't have a little in me. The part I'm healing. There's a huge amount of freedom that comes. The whole world can gossip about you. With the whole internet. The whole anti-group. All of them. The mushy pops on down. They can all tell their stories about the 5 women you raped. You can take it personally too and quit. How many people at tea wouldn't get served every day? Someone can intentionally send emotional poison. And if you don't take it personally, you're not going to eat it. When you don't take the emotional poison, it becomes even worse to the sender than to you. What's he going to do with this cup of poison that he's trying to hack off on someone? What's he going to do with it now? I'm trying to hand you a cup of poison. Nah, I'm not interested. What? What do I have to drink it? What am I going to? I have to find someone else to give it to. What? So don't drink it. And we're not, look at what he has to deal with. Just understand that he's still got to deal with it. He's still got to deal with it. It's not your problem. You can see how important this agreement is. Taking nothing personally helps you to break many habits and routines that trap you in the dream of hell and cause needless suffering. Just by practicing the second agreement, you begin to break tons of tiny agreements that have caused you to suffer. It feels so good. So I said this morning, did anybody not take anything personal yesterday? It feels a lot better than having a big fight in my background because I took something personal. And now I'm like having to deal with it and clean it up. Feels so good to spend a day being free of taking things personal and making it all about me. Being self-centered. How can I be served? Because I deserve. Feels beautiful. And then if you're an addict like me, I like to feel good. I like to feel good. If you practice the first 2 agreements, being impeccable with your word, not taking things personally, you're going to break 75%, according to Miguel, 75% of the teeny tiny agreements that have kept you trapped. 75%? I would take, if somebody told me 10 years ago, I'm going to have you 75% totally mentally healed, I'll take it. I'll take it. And there's still 2 more agreements to go. Write this agreement on a paper and put it on your refrigerator. So you can see it all the time. Don't take anything personally. Can you imagine every time you go get a glass of milk? Every time you go to crack an egg? Don't take anything personally. Start programming it into your brain. As you make a habit of not taking anything personal, you don't need to put your trust in things that other people say anymore. Out of that same mouth, they're going to say negative, and out of that same mouth, they're going to say positive. I don't care what anyone else's mouth is saying. I care what my mouth is saying. If I practice caring about my mouth first and only, that takes all the focus I need. Thank you, Clement, for the 100th like. Thank you. Look at you guys, 100 likes. You're killing it, Clement. You will never need to trust yourself. No, you will only need to trust yourself to make responsible choices. There's a funny thing about choices and decisions. The more you make, and the more you make them healthy, the more you're going to believe in yourself and your capacity to continue to do so. I told you guys briefly, I'm just 30 seconds, my ex-wife. She's 24 years old, out of a all-girls college. I start dating her. You guys know I'm half a crazy guy. We're exact opposites. She had this wild and crazy boyfriend, and I'm like, I finally found an angel. Innocent as could be. 24 years old. It's a true story. Her mom still told her what to wear. Laid out her outfits for her before she'd go to school, college. This is what you should wear today. You should wear this skirt, these shoes, this sweater, this 20-something-year-old woman. And she'd been doing that. So, I thought it was cute. Oh, look at this relationship they have. Oh, this is wonderful. There's just, how... You know what that meant? This lady had no capacity to make a decision. She didn't. Her mom had trained right out of her, you don't have to make decisions, honey. I'll make them all for you. Now you're married to this person, can't make a decision to save their life. If they're even going to try to make a decision, what are they going to do? They going to turn to their husband, or are they going to call their mom? It was such a red flag, Irby, and I didn't see it. And it was such an issue for us for the rest of our marriage. You literally cannot make a decision. It was, quote unquote, not her fault. She was programmed. That's when I realized, and I'm a decision-making son of a gun. I make them fast and on the fly. Boom, 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 boom. Decision, boom, boom, boom. This, that, the other. Let's go, boom, bam, boom. That's me. We were so opposite, it couldn't even have been funny. It was so crazy. Chalks on it, nails on a chalkboard. You can't decide? Well, if you'll just tell me what I should. Why am I mentioning that? Because the more decisions you make, the more you're going to believe in your ability to make them. The more good things that you do, the more you're going to believe you can do good things. It's so simple. Don't make any decisions and you'll become handicapped. Completely handicapped in those areas. Never met anybody, this literally, it was pathological. Completely handicapped. Let me ask a quick question. After their divorce, where do you think she went to live? When you truly understand this and you refuse to take things personally, you can't be hurt by careless comments or actions of others. Yep, back home. Yep. If you keep this agreement, you can travel around the world with your heart completely open and no one can hurt you. That is so beautiful. I can travel this whole world and not be hurt by people because I'm not going to take them personal. And they're going to say some randos, they're going to say something that didn't mean it that way. It could ruin my whole vacation, my whole day. I could travel around the world. And if my heart's in the right spot, I can't take anything personal. I'm actually traveling the world so I can serve you. If you keep this agreement, you can say, I love you, without fear of rejection or ridicule. I sat down 3 or 4 days ago and I ran through my, maybe the last 30 or 40 contacts, on my IG page. I ran through the people that, on my IG page, on my, DM. And I just started from whoever was the last person I talked to for the next, I just wrote 3 words. I love you. Just did this 3 or 4 days ago. I love you. The next person in line. I love you. Next person in line. I love you. Next person in line. I love you. Never done anything like that before in my life. As I first started out, I'm like, this is a little goofy. And kind of a little, what? And I'm firing off 30 or 40 I love yous, randos. And I'm thinking, these people on the other end are going to open up their text and they're just going to see 3 words from a guy that they like. We hang out, we do stuff. But I probably never even said this to them. I probably never even said this. The replies were beautiful. I didn't do it so I could get a reply. I did it because I wanted those people to feel good when they open up a text. And I can tell you that the stud, jerk, hypocrite, ex-Marine, he would have never come close to thinking, I got an idea, I'm going to fire off 40 I love yous. I would have never done that in a million years. And yeah, Shine, it made me feel good too. I would have never. You're, pardon me for this, how gay. I don't mean in a sexual way. I mean in the way we used to say it in the 60s and 70s. Take it for that. That's what I would have said. But I didn't care. I don't take it personal. I'm not taking it personal that the 4 or 5 people that haven't replied yet. But I wrote it and they didn't even reply. Well, that's good. Try it today. Grab your contact sheet and send off a bunch of I love yous. Honestly, there's going to be a bunch of people are going to be like, oh, thank you. And don't expect a reply. Don't. That ruins it. That's going to be our next step. Our next agreement that don't expect stuff. Why did I mention that again? Because it says right here, I can say I love you without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or you can say no, whichever you choose, without self-judgment. You can choose to follow your heart always. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience peace and happiness. You can stay in your state of bliss, and hell will not affect you at all. That's the end of the second agreement. Perfect timing for the end of the week. Next week, we'll start with page 63. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions are resentments waiting to happen. You're birthing resentments. You guys are doing a great job out there. I can feel it in my bones. I feel it. I feel it. I honestly do. I honestly feel it in my bones that you guys are practicing. There's a lot of personal growth going on out here. I hear it. I get the feedback from you. I see it. You know, with my eyes that I see. And it's because you guys are practicing. It's because you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, and you're seeing some of those old patterns and some of those old programs that have never been healthy for you, that have driven you to actions and inactions that have always been unhealthy for you. Now you're spotting some of them, and you're choosing them to change them because you got power. You have power. You have power that's beyond anybody's imagination. You have the power to start stuff. You have the power to become the best at anything that you choose. Follow what that inner spirit of yours is and be the best at it you can be. Be impeccable today. Don't take things personal today. That's 75% of the game. Have a great weekend, you guys. Boy, we had a great number today, didn't we, Joe D's? We're killing it. I love you guys very, very much. And thank you for serving me, every one of you that come here, and every comment that's made, and every interaction between you guys gives me a spirit of joy, because I'm watching all these little babies grow. I'm watching all these little seeds sprout and grow, and some are vines, and some are already trees here. You guys just keep it up. Keep up the good job. Okay? Keep it up. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and I'm going to be missing you for every moment until then. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! Two hawks. Guys, have a great weekend. Thank you again, Nipper and Darth and Free. You're a great man. Pacers and Sharon, thank you for doing that. Darth, thank you. Ghastly. Big time, Charlie. Big time. Hi, Charlie. John Zook, Two Hawks, EMT, thank you, EMT. Calico, you're my guy. Thank you, bro. Lakita, Rhizomorph, there he is. Hi, Rise. Nerdy, I love you, man. Keep on working. Shine, Pacers, Mr. Phillips. Jesus Christ, don't push a dislike. Freddie Hinkle. This is Woodstock every morning, Freddie. Cleany, RX, Cleany loving some Cleany. Jolie, that one too. Lakita, Kimberly, thank you too, dear. Saturn, Derek Anderson, Billy D, Jonathan Spell, Green Tables, Mikey, JW Owen, Melody Dawn, Shy, that's my shy guy. Cleany, John Zook, Jesus Christ in Australia. Sling, Justin's okay. Cleany, hello, Ava, you little doll. Bud, have a good day, Shanti, Michael. Nerves, caw. Jonathan Spell, Cat, Meowzilla. Mike, Jesus Christ, B. Hendricks, Shiny. Slingy and Pidgey, Page. I'm sad too, Vegas, love you. Herbie, JWON. Exception, she is. Joe D's, Jesus Christ, Smooth Caramel. Zoni, Corey T. Corey, you were live today. Mike and Billy D. and Michael Allen, goodbye, Mike. Ghastly and Melody, love the fam. Neil, Tree is stomping. Saturn, Joe D's, Corey D, Pops Peace. Be impeccable. You're so powerful. Be immune. You're capable. All you have to do is don't take it personal. Get out of here. See you guys next week.